Hi, it's Ian from the Postal Hub Podcast.
And Marek from Last Mile Experts.
And we are the Last Mile Prophets. This is the last word on the last mile. This video is created thanks to Modern Expo, one of the key players in the world's parcel locker market. Modern Expo's product portfolio includes innovative solutions with refrigeration and freezing cells, Bluetooth locks, and even personal parcel lockers. Marek, Royal Mail just can't stay out of the headlines at the moment. And not for the right reasons, dare I say it. There's ongoing industrial strife in the UK affecting the national postal operator. And well, I thought we did briefly talk about this a few weeks ago. I'll stick a link up there. If you missed the video, click on the pop-up banner and you can have a look at our video from a little while ago. So back then we were talking about the reports that the Royal Mail was losing £1 million a day and it was headed for being busted open. That is, the Royal Mail and GLS businesses would be separated. Just recently it was confirmed, as far as I'm aware, that the new brand, International Distribution Services, it would be listed on Royal Mail would change its name on the stock exchange to International Distribution Services. So this is seen as that first step towards breaking the two businesses apart. Marek, what do you reckon here?
First of all, the name is a bit interesting. It smacks of consignia.
Yeah, doesn't it just? Worst rebrand in history. Worse than Hermes calling itself Every. I still call it Hermes. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Every. I mean, Every probably had to happen because of the fact that Advent controls the business in the UK, but not in Europe. So probably that was part of the deal. But
Perhaps.
coming on to the sort of probably more important thing, something does need to happen because at the moment Royal Mail has got a ton of its own issues to deal with. It's not able to look after something that historically was the hen that laid the golden eggs, GLS. And, you know, for me, the writing's on the wall. The question is how to do it in a way that will be least damaging. I say least damaging rather than most beneficial for Royal Mail Group or whatever it's now going to be called, shareholders.
So this is an interesting thing. So the GLS business, according to one report, is supposedly worth about £4 billion. But because of the Royal Mail effect, the overall group is worth less than that. So there's a theory that says break them up so that, and this is all about shareholder value. I know that a lot of people are going to start jumping in the comments saying it shouldn't just be about shareholder value, but bear with me a second. But there's a business aspect to this as well, Marek, which is if you break up the two businesses and you've got Royal Mail running on its own and GLS being run on its own, what will that mean for Royal Mail's ability to get finance to invest in sorting centres, to update its network or things like that?
I think, you know what, Ian, I think, first of all, the truth is the two businesses don't and aren't able to help each other enough. GLS is a different type of business. It's not a former post office type operator. And I think it will do better if it's in let's call it the non-state market. I also think, if you remember, InPost went for, I know it was on a peak and the market was really on a high, it went for 8.9 billion. Now, I find it hard to believe that GLS, covering most European markets in terms of potential, would only be valued at 4 billion. You know, of course, the market is different, but I think, you know, there could be more to be gained. If that money were to be used to, should we say, reinvigorate Royal Mail to the benefit of the shareholders, the employees, the business as a whole, then that would potentially at least create an opportunity without using taxpayers' money to improve things at Royal Mail. On the other hand, GLS would then be owned probably by a private equity or someone else who would actually then create the right environment for that business to thrive. Am I pushing the boat out too far, Ian?
No, look, this is it. Well, obviously, everybody, we're speculating a little bit here because there's the other issue, not another issue, but other things have rolled up in all of this is that Royal Mail has a universal service obligation and GLS does not. This is akin to what you were saying before, Marek, about one being a postal operator, one being purely a parcel operator. So there's the USO aspect of it, and you know, if they're separated, would Royal Mail on its own push harder to either make changes to the USO, or would it play, I was going to say, can't play harder ball with the unions when it comes to negotiating wages?
I think definitely the management could focus far more on the given company. So what you'd have effectively, Royal Mail management would then focus on Royal Mail, different set of issues, different set of needs. I think far more need for diplomacy, winning the hearts and souls of the posties and the very strong unions that are there, which is much less of an issue within the GLS organization. It's a different type of individual or individuals who would need to run and manage Royal Mail, and a different type of individual to run GLS. So honestly, from my perspective, the chances of finding a Superman or woman who can, be a chameleon and is able to manage very complex issues in Royal Mail and simultaneously manage GLS well is a lot more difficult, I think, than to split.
Marek, in the few minutes that we have left, I want to ask you something that's sort of on my mind with all of this, is that you've got La Poste in France, it has DPD Group, it has Geopost. You have Deutsche Post DHL with European and global networks. Why is it that Royal Mail can't organise a little thing with GLS in Europe plus a little bit of North America? Why can't it do it? Is Royal Mail, maybe it's like one of those, like cricket. The English invented cricket, but then it was perfected by everybody else. A little bit unkind. Who has the Ashes right now? Can't remember. Anyway, Marek.
I can't comment on cricket, but what I can say, and we need to be fair, Ian, Deutsche Post did have a few moments of trouble when they expanded too fast, tried to do too many things, and you remember the American fiasco, etc. So it's not that it's so easy. And La Poste has been particularly successful at creating a very independent parcel unit called Geopost, or I think it's called Geopost, which runs DPD and the various other international parcel divisions. So I think it's a specific case. The issue that Royal Mail have, in my opinion, or Royal Mail Group, is that you have two very different animals. You've got GLS, which needs to reinvent itself in a different way. It needs to move more to B2C, more to out of home, covers a pan-European footprint. And the issues there are more about, let's say, tech, change of the business model. Royal Mail, it's all about the people. It's about, in my view, winning the people on board, reinvigorating the organization, in a very difficult environment where you've got the various postal obligations, you've got obligations to the employees and the unions. It's very much more sensitive issue. Therefore, what I want to say, what you need for Royal Mail is probably someone who's much more a diplomat, people person with good strategic thinking, who's able to basically, get things back on track by winning the hearts and souls of the people. Whereas GLS needs a really good strategist and executor to move that business forward in the direction it needs. And I think it's going to be very, very hard to find one man or woman who can do both simultaneously.
I fear, Marek, that we're starting to run out of time. There's a lot of stuff we haven't mentioned here, like really going to things like the USO, the relationship with the unions, the strike action that is planned, and what that means for the Royal Mail business domestically, in a very competitive domestic parcels market. But we've run out of time. Thank you for watching this video on YouTube. Remember to hit like, subscribe, and the notifications bell so you get our videos magically appearing in your YouTube feed. You'll get a notification when we publish a new video on your phone or whatever's linked to your YouTube account. How convenient's that? And obviously, every time you subscribe, it helps us, just helps us. It makes Marek feel better too. When he's sitting there and he sees a little notification, says he's got another subscriber, little face lights up. Do it for Marek, if nothing else. Marek, we're going to return to this topic in a future video, but for now, thank you very much for being part of the Last Mile Profits.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, everybody.